G'day everyone, it's me, the Anti-Theocrat, back with another one. Before I go into the main content, it's a quick sales pitch. It's the only one you're getting, so enjoy it. Below these videos, I do attach all links to the information if there are links to be had. I also archive all of the information if that's possible. I also supply links to other platforms for my content and how to support me if you wish to do so. That'd be nice, but no requirement. That's it. That's my intro. That's my sales pitch. It's all I've got. It's all you're ever going to get. And now, on with the show. I just want to talk again about what it's like to try and put together a damn video to send out to you. I wanted to discuss an article that has been sitting on my desk for a long time. It comes off the back of a lot of other great writing, but it just put it all in one place. I do not know much about this publication or its validity in the world, but the article seems legit, and I've got no problem with anything in the article. So what it is The Gleaner, established in 1834, apparently Jamaica, Kingston, anyway. And the title is Africa's Role in Slavery, upon which there's a very long article about slavery, which I was going to dash through and do a video on. I'm going to link it below if you want to read it for yourself, but essentially it's just a brief thing. And then anyway, we get to the bottom where he says, I am particularly indebted to the very politically incorrect work of Thomas Sowell and Dinesh D'Souza, I think Dinesh is right, now famous 20-year-old policy review essay, We the Slave Owners, for information about this horrible subject of slavery and African participation in it. But many other sources are freely available on the web. Yes, they are. And that's not just African slavery, but slavery full stop. The Western world, the Arab world, there's probably plenty on the Asian world. Although I don't know if we've done nearly enough homework on the Asian parts of the world yet. Excuse me. Something bugging my throat this morning. But many other sources are freely available, yes. So anyway, I went to look up this freely available document. And do you think I could fucking find it? I just thought I'd see how it might fit into making a video. First, I looked up Dinesh D'Souza. Now, Wikipedia is a quick go-to, and it was top of the search when I was looking. So, what I find out is this article is semi-protected due to vandalism. Personally, I think it might need some vandalism, unless this was the vandalism. But he's an Indian-American far-right political commentator. Well, I'm interested in how you define far right in which to put it in an article like this. So we'll have a look what Wikipedia says. In United States politics, the radical right, so not far right. This is written as far right, which has a particular meaning, has been given meaning by someone, but we're talking about radical right, and to some degree I agree. Dinesh D'Souza is not one of my favourite people on the planet. His Christian apologism is just the usual boring tripe and gives me the fucking irrits. But that doesn't mean he's wrong on everything. Now, I might admit that he is radical right on that basis, because he would have been... I've known of him for a long time, and I would have known of him through the... what used to be the GOP. I still don't know why people use that term as they do, because the Christian right of the Republican Party is no longer what it was 10 years ago. They are no longer the GOP. The GOP described a certain set of people looking to take over that party and its politics. But in any case, he would have been part of the GOP. That's how I would have come across him. But that's different. Far right is something different from radical right. And to have that linked the way it does, say what it does and then link to something else is just fucking dishonest. outright dishonest. There's a preference that leans towards extreme conservatism, various ethnic supremacism ideologies. That would be far right. The last one, the ethnic supremacism, that would be far right. Less radical right. So there's a real twisting going on here in the writing. If this is the crap that they've closed off this closed editing for, then yeah, fucking too right. But why didn't you just highlight it that these were questionable things, and other right-wing beliefs in hierarchical structure? Well, hang on, why is hierarchical structure right-wing? I don't get that. What about the left wing? Let's go to the furthest extremes of the left wing, shall we? The communists. What about communism does not include hierarchical structures? Seriously, where in the world has communism not implemented a hierarchical structure to control everyone else it had to keep at a low level, in poverty? That's what you do when you build an equal playing field. You make everyone equally poor. But when was this a right-wing idea, hierarchical structures? I don't get it, because I am a left-leaning centrist, always have been. My politics has shifted very little through my lifetime. But I've never thought hierarchical structures were wrong. I remember law and order being something that on the left we thought was important. We just thought differently about how it should be implemented, but we didn't say it should be gone. And like I say, you take it to the furthest extremes, the communists, and the hierarchies aren't just hierarchies, they're dictatorial. So I get really annoyed at seeing these things flung around like far right, but the definitions used for them are nonsensical at best. Anyway, political commentator, provocateur, I'm okay with that. He can be a political commentator. We can get rid of far right. We just say political commentator. You could say right wing political commentator. It still would be right, but far right implies something different. That's an outright fucking lie. That is. It is normally used to describe white supremacism, or at least race division as a concept. And D'Souza is an Indian man living in America. Do you think he really wants a white America, or red America, or black America? Provocateur, author, filmmaker, and conspiracy theorist. This also struck me as something to look up. Conspiracy theorist. A conspiracy theory is an explanation for an event or situation that invokes a conspiracy by sinister or powerful groups, often political in motivation. Well, we've seen a few of those coming through, haven't we? We've seen how high the pedophile rings run and how tied they are to people in power. We've now seen the Biden information coming out, which suggests that there are some very serious issues there and a lot of money involved. How true it all is or isn't is less important than the fact that if any of it is true, the number of people who must be aware, the number of people who must have their hands in their pockets rummaging for the money that's been deposited, these are not, without warrant, these ideas. Now, if that's what he's writing about, fine. But anyway, we've got references 1, 2, 3, and 4. So let's do the quick zip through this very long article to find out what they are, shall we? Someone called Jason Wilson, wrote that Dinesh D'Souza, far right provocateur, righto. So we're hitting off with a fine sign of independent thought here, and fair assessment. and key figure in US culture wars. But yeah, he has been a key figure. He's been mentioned a lot. I'll give that. But this is a Guardian article. I'm not reading a Guardian article as proof of anything. Fucking hell. How did you use this as a reference for making that claim? Chantel de Silva, Florida school shooting survivor, hits out at right-wing pundit Dinesh D'Souza for mocking grieving students. Again, how is this conspiracy driven? What is the conspiracy in this? Did D'Souza say, why are all these kids crying about some kids being shot? It's time to grow up. Most of you didn't know these kids. Most of you didn't like these kids. Whatever the fuck he said. I don't know what he said. But whatever he said, let's assume he said the worst fucking thing possible about these kids. That they were making a big... See, I don't even think this is that bad. That they're making a big scene out of crying over the shooting. Fucking hell. How is this conspiracy? Where's the conspiracy? If he said something, where's the conspiracy? If he mocked grieving students, where is the conspiracy? It proves nothing. And again, it's Newsweek. Another fucking newspaper article. Someone with a bee in their bonnet wrote a newspaper article. Well fucking done. You can assume I won't be looking at it for evidence of conspiracy theory. It is obviously bullshit. Adam Howard, Dinesh D'Souza, conservative firebrand, set to debut anti-Clinton film. And how is that a conspiracy theory? This is before the film, right? Set to debut, which means this film has not even been released yet, and yet Adam Howard took the time to write about how this film was going to be a conspiracy theory. I'll assume that he claimed it was a conspiracy theory. NBC News, again, another person with a bee in his bonnet, but getting in to poison the world before the film is even released. How the fuck is that a sign of conspiracy theory? And we now know how buried in with the pedophiles and what have you the Clintons have been. Who knows who knows how far the conspiracies run that are actually fucking truth? Okay, number 4. This is the last one to prove that he's a conspiracy theorist, remember? I'm fucking writing off the first 3. They mean nothing. Mark What's-His-Face. What happened to Dinesh D'Souza? What? What? Look, Dinesh D'Souza gave money to a political campaign, was convicted of it, has been pardoned from his sentence, whatever the fuck it was. Look, a lot of people have been done for electoral fraud. Good. He was done for electoral fraud. If he did it and he got done for it, good. But if that's what happened to him, that he was put under house arrest in a halfway home, or some shit that I read in this article, if that's what happened to him, how is that a conspiracy? How the fuck is any of that conspiracy? So, Wikipedia. Authoritative material? Indeed not. Now, D'Souza actually has done some good writing. I have no problem with some of D'Souza's writing. I have not yet, however, found his connection to Thomas Sowell, because doing the searches as I have, you can see here, and I've edited this search a few times. It's actually the best stuff I've come up with. You find that Thomas Sowell talks about slavery an awful lot, but I haven't actually found this paper that he's supposed to be connected to. I have found this one here, a policy review, but it only quotes one author. So I'm not sure what's going on here. My question is, this is supposed to be a very easily searchable document. Why am I not finding it? Why am I only finding this variation? Maybe it is the one that's being talked about. I don't know. It bothers me that when I start doing research, I can't find information which is supposed to be easy to find. And the information I do find makes me question the honesty of people on the internet, the people providing us services. Far right, conspiracy theorists. Yet the evidence pointing towards those things is flimsy at best. He is a nutjob Christian, but good for him to have something to believe in. And as a not anti-theist atheist myself, that's something for me to say, right? I don't give a fuck that the man has his own beliefs. I find his beliefs annoying, I find his apologism annoying, but that doesn't make him wrong on other topics. So, yeah, it just shits me that when I start doing the research, this is what I find. So, we find We the Slave Owners, the Hoover Institute. Yeah, that's the one I just opened for you. Again, it only cites one author. But there's no end of material from Thomas Sowell, I think it is. Anyway, I mean, first up, we get the part 2 of The Real History of Slavery, which linked us, by the way, with the fixed link. They've linked in slavery to that. The link is shite because of it. But when you correct the link, you come up with this. And as you can see down the bar here, there are a lot of talks with Mr. Sowell. And I've from way back when he was a young man. And I've watched a lot of these videos. He's a very clever man and he knows his stuff. And he can put up a good argument. His stuff on slavery is not wrong either. So I, again, come back to this article, which I will link below, with all the other links that I'm showing you. But Africa's role in slavery. There is no race card to be carried with slavery unless the race card you want to carry is that the English people were not only the first to abolish slavery, but they paid for that policy to be enacted throughout the Western world. They fought slavery legally and on the seas and everywhere else, any way they could, and they've only just finished paying for those debts. And yet in Africa, slavery amongst the tribes, slavery went on. In fact, Thomas Sowell himself talks about how slave numbers in Africa went up because there was no longer an international market for them. Because they were already keeping the best slaves anyway. They were already keeping the ones that aided them and profited them to have. There was slavery in Africa. They didn't just sell every slave. And we're not talking about the Arabs who enslaved white people, who enslaved anybody who looked different, who was different. And the Arabs still do that today. We have a lot of stories about Asian people ending up in the United Arab Emirates and so forth, under contract to do a job, not getting paid for it, being held without the ability to leave the country. These people are slaves, modern day slaves. And the Asian world kept slaves too. So we can't pretend that anyone is absolved from a history of these things. But I just wanted to have this talk about the way that research runs. That I start with an article, I think, yeah, I'm going to go through this article, and I check a few things through the article to see how accurate the article is, or if there's anything I can tie into the article to make a more interesting video for you. And what I find is far right conspiracy theorist. at the top of the fucking Wikipedia article to poison the well. Absolutely, totally fucking poison the well. That's what that is. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of D'Souza, but he is not far right. And while he might be a conspiracy theorist in some ways, the evidence provided does not show that. And it shits me up the fucking wall what I find when I do these things. I wanted to present that to you. I wanted to give that to you. I wanted to do that, and I'm not going to cover this article anymore. I'm going to find some other news, find some actual news. That's it. I got nothing more. I just wanted to present this bloody video to blow off some steam about what I was finding through my searches. I still have not found the actual policy review, which apparently is easy to search for. It seems to have vanished from the internet, unless it is this one being put in under D'Souza's name. In which case, I have one problem with the original article, I guess. I didn't find a lot of issues with this, but if the Thomas Sowell being connected to this policy review, and I've got to say, I have to say, that I seem to remember this policy review. I seem to have an actual recollection of this policy review being done. But if my recollection is being sparked on the Thomas Sowell side of it, then, because I remember the review, I do not remember the authors. It's not the sort of thing I'm likely to remember. Just pointing out that that's why I search these things, really. That's all. I look up these things to find out how factual they are, like I say, how they might fit into the video, how I might be able to stretch it to give you something more to look at than just the article. And what I find is lies and slander. And that's it. I've had enough. I'm going. I do not want to do this anymore. I've had enough of this. I'm out of here. I've been the anti-theocrat. May your gods remain fictional. And I will see you in the next one. Until then, have fun.